Now, in this episode, I've decided what I'm going to do is 20, I think 20, it might not work out as 20. We'll just have to see how we get on with the questions. But I got 20 questions. I asked chat what are the common questions people ask when it comes to YouTube. And I thought I'd answer those during this episode. And I'm also just testing, right? I wanted to see if I could ask those questions, answer them, let my Osmo Pocket film them. I can then chop them up as individual answers and put them out as shorts. And then we've got this full episode that you guys are seeing the whole episode of. So hopefully this gives me a good chance to try what I needed to try inside of the studio and also give you some value in here as well. Do you need expensive cameras to start a YouTube channel? Well, of course, I'm here in a studio and we're filming with expensive cameras. There's no doubt about that. The quality of this kind of setup is fantastic and it's worth it if you're really serious about YouTube and you want to create content for your business that really shines, then come into something like a studio like this makes perfect sense. But if you're just getting started, if you're managing it all yourself, if you're going with a low budget, small budget, no budget, whatever it might be, then you can absolutely do this without an expensive camera. You could start maybe with just your mobile phone, or perhaps you will get something like the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Hopefully the 4 is coming out soon. It's been rumored for ages. But you could get something like a dedicated camera for that kind of thing. And I highly recommend it. If you use your phone, the problem with using your phone, the good thing about using your phone is everything's there. You can take your footage and you can edit it all on your phone. But the bad thing is that your phone gets full of content, right? This kind of content. So having a dedicated device, getting used to sort of the workflow of filming, taking the footage, putting it onto a computer, a laptop, something like that, it gets you in that real straightforward workflow that we're expecting as YouTubers. Even if you're outsourcing your editing, you would still want to go through that workflow process. So yes, you can absolutely start with just a mobile phone, and I highly recommend you do just that when you're getting started. What I do say to people is don't go and invest in a camera like this, any of the cameras I've got here, until you've started creating content, because otherwise you're just buying a paperweight, an expensive paperweight. Go and make sure you're creating content first before you go and invest loads of money. How long should your first YouTube video be? Well, I think you're probably overthinking it if you're talking about how long the video should be. What I really want you to think about instead is like, what's the content I'm going to talk about? Have you got pillars of content that you're going to talk about? What's my expertise? What could I talk about for 5 to 10 minutes without any prompts, without any preparation, without any planning? Whatever your channel is going to be about, whatever your niche is, whatever your business is, you should know that topic well enough to be able to talk about it for 5 to 10 minutes. So if you're a gardener and you talk about landscaping or something like that, then just find one simple topic you can talk about, maybe like 2 to 3 points within that topic, and then just talk about that in full for 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes is a good time. If you ask this question on Google, they'll say 8 minutes, and this is all about ads. But don't worry about any of that stuff when you're getting started. Just focus on delivering good content in as long as it takes. Does anyone really watch YouTube channels, new YouTube channels? Well, the answer to this is yes. I started a new YouTube channel myself. It's called MattFullTime. The link will be in the description somewhere here. MattFullTime was me taking the time to start a new channel to show people that, yes, you can start a channel, people will watch it. Of course, I've got experience, I've got strategy, I've got knowledge, all of those good things. Ultimately, when you're starting, you just want to get some videos out there, get some content out there, start publishing content and not worry too much about the numbers that you're seeing right at the start. Mr. Beast says you have to create 100 videos, 100 good or bad videos. I don't really know. He says the first 100 will always be bad. I don't think it has to be like that. Maybe the first 20 you could use as testing and just understanding the process, the workflow of creating a video content, get your confidence up, your courage muscle, prep all of those things. And then you should start thinking about analytics when you start to get some good content. But people absolutely do. The short answer to this is they absolutely do watch new YouTube channels. And of course, you're going to tell everybody about it. You're going to say, hey, I've just started a YouTube channel, come and watch it, right? Don't let that put you off whether new people watch it or not, because they absolutely will. Should you niche down straight away or post a bit of everything? Now, I interviewed a guy on the YouTube Success podcast, which is my podcast. You might be listening to this on the podcast. a guy right at the start of the journey of my podcast. I think it was episode 1, in fact. And he talked about how him and his wife, when they first started their channel, they've got 8 million subscribers, or they had 8 million at the time. I bet they've got loads more now. They started a channel and they tried loads of different formats, all these different formats. And then they eventually found the format that worked, tested it, got analytics from it, figured it out before they really niched down. But they definitely had a niche. It was with their daughter Brianna, and they knew the kind of audience that they wanted to share it with, but they were just testing the formats and that kind of thing. And I suppose one thing's for sure, when you're thinking about niching or the content you create or anything like that, you're going to have to think about testing things often. What do people really like to watch? How do they like to watch them? Is it long form? Is it short form? Can I talk confidently about all of this stuff without interruption? The question of niche really doesn't matter too much. You know what your expertise is. You know who you're talking to. You're not talking to people in your expertise, like people that know as much as you do. I can see this happen a lot with photographers. They'll create photos and they're trying to impress the other photographers. But actually, it's the other photographers are not their ideal client. They're not the people they're going to work with. Actually, what they need to focus on is the customers, the people that are going to watch it, who are looking for your support, looking for your business, looking to get somebody else to help them with their problems. They're the people you want to talk to. And if you focus on the customer, the viewer, more than the niche, I think you'll find your niche and you'll find everything else off the back of that, right? I think that aligns nicely to where you should be, rather than focusing in on just your niche. Niching is very good, not denying it, but I think there's more to it than that. How often should a beginner upload on YouTube? That's a great question. Actually, my strategy, personal strategy, when you're getting started is once per week. I think once per week for a beginner is quite a lot of content to create. Unless you're creating content consistently already, one long form video a week is a lot. But there's different strategies. You know, you could do 3 short form pieces of content and 1 long form piece of content. You could do 2 long form pieces of content per week. You could do 1 piece of long form content every month even. But I think the sweet spot for most people, the generally accepted amount of content for YouTube is once per week. That's where you should start. That's what you should aim for, and then just build on that as you go. Is it better to be perfect or just hit publish? In my academy, I have an academy called the King of Video Academy. It's a video marketing academy, but it's largely focused on YouTube. We talk about this idea of progress over perfection. I don't think there's anything like perfection. I don't think it exists. I think you need to make steady progress, and there's this phrase, imperfect action, is what first got me to move forward. Look, I had a video company. When I first started creating YouTube content, I had a video company. Everything that we put out there, I thought needed to be perfect. It needed to be this kind of quality. But actually, in reality, picking up your phone, creating a video, hitting record, and then hitting publish afterwards, that's more powerful than anything. Once you start publishing, you can just improve a little bit at a time. We always talk about improving 1% at a time. And eventually, you won't need to think about it anymore. You won't need to overthink it. You'll just get to the position. So is it better to be perfect or hit publish? The answer, the simple answer, is it's definitely more important to hit publish. Why do some videos get views and others get nothing? Well, there's a lot of answers to that. Sometimes it's the packaging. You know, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of influencers will talk about packaging. And of course, having a good thumbnail, having a good title is important, and it's something that we should pay attention to. But there's so many more aspects that align to why a video takes off or what doesn't. It could be the timing, like cultural timing. You might have a video that makes perfect sense. If we talked about Clubhouse, if anyone remembers Clubhouse, it still exists, by the way. When we were talking about that at the time, it was newsworthy. It was definitely an example of newsjacking, jumping on a trend at that moment. But if we did something about that now, we'd expect that it wouldn't get as many views as before. So sometimes timing is important. Sometimes like cultural timing as well. Sometimes the packaging is off. Sometimes the editing is just bad. You know, you can publish a video, you think you've got the editing style down and everything feels right, and then the next time it doesn't quite work out as well. So you've got to just pay attention then to the analytics. But I think if you're starting a YouTube channel, don't worry about too much of that at the start. I think the the biggest thing, the most important thing at the start is to get going, and then to be improving a little bit at a time. Don't focus too much on why one video takes off versus another. Just keep going is the main. There's actually a small caveat to that is, I've actually seen some people where a video doesn't take off. They give it like a week of time to see if it's going to take off, and they might get rid of it and re-upload it and see if it takes off again. Sometimes there's glitches and there's reason why some videos don't take off, and they can take off the second time. But I wouldn't recommend that if you're getting started. I think just keep publishing, keep flexing that courage muscle, and you'll be good to go as you move forward. Should I delete videos that flop? Well, I guess an interesting thing to think about. Like personally, I like to see somebody's progress, and I think if you've created videos and they're in the same niche or the same industry of what the channel is about, of course, if you decided to create a vlog video years ago and it's nothing to do with what your channel is about, perhaps I would delete or unpublish a video. I never really delete anything actually. But I think if it's just a video that maybe you're not as proud of as other videos, leave it on. Let people see the progress you've made. Let people see the good and the bad side of creating content. We don't have to create bangers every time. Sometimes it's just a case of learning and accepting that some videos are not going to be as good as others. If Mr. Beast deleted some of the old videos that he's got on there, we wouldn't be able to see that progress that he's made, but they just all seem to hang out on there. I did one of the speakers at TubeFest. TubeFest is a conference I have in the UK, video marketing conference, largely YouTube conference. But one of the speakers at TubeFest, he had a channel where it was a kind of mix of multiple different things. And when he found the thing that really flew, he unpublished all the other stuff. So he got rid of all the other stuff. And I looked at it and I said to him, Luke, how come you've only got like 50 videos on this channel, but it's got like 100,000 subscribers or whatever it was? And he said, oh no, Matt, he says, I got rid of loads. I removed them. I just wanted to keep the bangers and keep growing with the bangers because I knew they were working. So that's a strategy that you can think about later on, but right at the start, I think just keep maybe those embarrassing ones at the start. They're perfectly fine. They're part of the journey, right? How does subscribers matter at the beginning? I think when it comes to subscribers and views at the beginning, if you use something like TubeBuddy or vidIQ, one of the services that TubeSpanner do this as well, one of the services that gives you little milestone badges, what you'll notice is the badges are like 10 subscribers, 20 subscribers, 50 subscribers, 100 subscribers. When you get to 1,000, it starts to go to 1,100 subscribers, 1,200 subscribers. When you get to 10,000 or whatever number it is, I'm not there yet. Whenever you get to a much higher number, the gap between each milestone gets wider. And I think that's because at the start, getting new subscribers, like it's really exciting, it's really interesting. Like you want to get to those little milestones, and each little milestone really means something. But I think once you get into the flow, actually the gap between is not as important anymore. Actually, you're focused on loads of other things, and you don't have time so much to look at the subscriber numbers. But in answer to the question, do subscribers matter at the beginning? I think, yeah, I think for everybody, it doesn't matter if you call them vanity metrics or whatever. I always call them valuable metrics. I think they do matter for a lot of people. So let's not just play the game that they don't matter at all. I think in terms of like self-motivation and all that kind of stuff, they matter. But just don't get hung up on them. Don't let it define you or your channel or give you self-worth. You are worthy, regardless of how many subscribers you have. Let me say that again. You are worthy, regardless of how many subscribers you have and regardless of how many views you have. Sometimes it just takes the algorithm, it takes the world, it takes the viewers a little bit of time to understand that and to get on board. But when they do, chef's kiss, right? It will happen. It will happen for you as well. How long does it take to grow on YouTube realistically? How long? Well, how long is a piece of string? There is no real answer to this question. How long it takes to grow depends on you. It depends on your dedication to your YouTube channel. Are you dedicated to this journey? Are you doing everything you can to make sure that your channel is going to grow? Are you learning? Are you engaging? Are you becoming a YouTube user? Like when I'm sat in this office and we were setting the studio up, I didn't just set the studio up and think, oh yeah, you know, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for like 13 years or whatever. What I did is I sat and watched video after video after video. If you look at my feed now on my MattFullTime account, it's just YouTube studios, it's podcast studios, because I've completely thrown myself into that. So how long it takes to grow realistically depends on all of these things, all of these parts of you as a creator. Are you dedicated to it? What I do know is those people that do go all in on YouTube, on the one platform. Yes, you can grow on the other platforms as well. I do measure all the other platforms. But if you dedicate it and focus on one platform, make that YouTube, you can succeed very, very quickly. I've seen it. We know there's great stories about it. So you can do it very, very quickly. So yes, it's realistic. Is YouTube too saturated to start in 2026? Well, I hope not, because I've just launched my new King of Video Academy, which is kingofvideoacademy.com. And we're bringing new people in to start new channels. Like if YouTube was saturated, I don't think there's such a thing as saturation. Like, if you think about this with chicken shops, right? You want to go to a chicken shop. There's loads of places around me. I'm in the middle of town at the moment. But in Leicester, I see chicken shops, and you'll see a chicken shop in one place, and then 3 doors down, there's another chicken shop, right? It just appears. Like, if they thought about saturation in the marketplace for local marketing like that, for takeaways and that kind of thing, they wouldn't open that other place. Like, for me, when I see lots of people in a specific niche, what I think about is that means there's lots of people that are interested in that niche. There must be. Otherwise, why would they start in that niche? So lots of people interested means there's lots of opportunity for you to shine in that industry. So rather than focusing on saturation, why don't you focus on, like, how can I be different? What can I do that's the same or better than them? What can I do that's different? And also remember that you are different. Your whole personality, your being, the way you put yourself across is very different. I've got people like Nick Nimim, Tim Schmoyer, Nick Nimim. There's a few people like that I really look up to, have done great work in the YouTube space, helping people just like I'm trying to help people. But they're different to me. I'm from the UK. They're from America. Well, Nick lives in Thailand now. Like, we're all different people. We all have different styles. And there's lots of cool similarities and lots of things. I'm sure when we get together and we talk about this stuff, we can nerd out and geek out on equipment and strategies and all that kind of stuff. But actually, I believe that there's just space for everybody. Saturation is just something that holds you back and stops you starting in the first place. So no, I don't believe that YouTube is saturated at all. What matters more, the title or the thumbnail? Now, this is called packaging. From a YouTube perspective, we call this packaging. Title or thumbnail? Well, I guess thumbnail is the thing that grabs people's attention the most. I think the order in which it goes is thumbnail first, grab your attention, and then the thumbnail should give you enough, it should spark your curiosity, give you enough interest for you to look at the title. The two things shouldn't be the same. It shouldn't have the title in the thumbnail. You should look at the thumbnail and think, oh, I wonder what that's about. Look at the title. Oh, it's about this thing, and then you go click. So I think the answer to that question is that the thumbnail is more important, but I still think the two things work really well together. Of course, depending on the device, some thumbnails you'll see more of it, and it'll be easier to see on some devices than others. There's an app called thumbsup.tv, which is a great way to test the thumbnails on multiple devices. But equally, I've seen some videos that are brilliant that have really awful thumbnails, and just the content is really good. It seems to be getting served to people. Perhaps it's it shows up in results where the other thumbnails are not as appealing, you know. So yes, thumbnail is the answer, but there's caveats to all of this stuff as well when it comes to YouTube. Should beginners focus on shorts or long form videos first? Now, personally, I think long form is where it's at. That's the thing we should start on. Long form is where the money's at, really. Long form is where people can really get to know you in great detail. If they know you in great detail, they're more likely to buy from you. I'm talking specifically for YouTube for business people, which is what my channel is all about. If you're here and you're not YouTube for business, then why are you here? Just because you love my content. But shorts is where you can grab attention. So long form is where the money's at. Long form is where you really get to know people. Shorts is where you grab their attention. So shorts might be where you hook them in. And just delivering little bits of gold and value, just like these tips that I'm giving, can be the thing that really pulls people towards you before they start watching your long form of content as well. So having a sort of mixed mode strategy is never a bad thing. Even though people used to say it harmed your channel, actually, I just think just try both and just try and grow both. Once you've gone all in on one, which is your long form first, that's my answer. So to summarize that answer, go all in on your long form first, Make sure you're doing that consistently, strategically, then add in the shorts later on. Do I need to be good on camera to succeed? Not being good on camera is a skill, right? Like I wouldn't still say that I'm good on camera. I would say I'm a good presenter. I would say I'm confident at my craft, but that just comes with practice. Like anything like this comes with practice. I've seen people that are 18 years old and they're just phenomenal on camera. They're just like got so much charisma and it looks so natural. And then I've seen 50-year-olds where they're so nervous and they're not so, and the opposite of those things. Young people and old people that are really good. Young people that so. It comes with experience. It comes with flexing that courage muscle. It comes with trying to do new things and being uncomfortable at the start. I think this kind of process is uncomfortable when you first start. So it's just kind of accepting that you're going to be uncomfortable at the start, and it will get better as it goes through. So no, you don't have to be great on camera at the start. It will just naturally feel better, and you'll get better at it the more you do it. And the other thing I'll say is if you stop doing it for a little while, then you have to build that courage muscle again. It's not, you can't just jump straight back in where you were. You have to keep practicing. You do lose some of the momentum if you stop. So it's important to make sure that you stay consistent and keep going. Why do my videos have impressions but no clicks? Well, the answer is that YouTube is serving them. YouTube will always test your videos, whether it's shorts, whether it's long form, it doesn't really matter. Your videos will be put in front of people. That's an impression. But if people look at it, the title, the thumbnail doesn't work, it doesn't appeal to them, maybe it's not the right answer to the question they've asked or the thing they've searched for, then they won't click it and you won't get click-throughs then. So impressions should always happen. You should never see it where it says no impressions, but it actually takes somebody to go forward and click through to the video itself. So if you're getting impressions and no clicks, then change your packaging, change your thumbnail, maybe change the title. Don't change too much in one go because you won't really know what's having the effect. You need to change it, give it a couple of days, 2-3 days, let YouTube do its thing again, and then try again. If you're doing thumbnails, perhaps this is where you need to move into A/B testing, ABC testing, which, this is not something we talk about necessarily right at the start. Just getting videos out there and publishing is good. But if you find yourself hitting an impressions and no clicks situation, focus on changing some of the packaging. Should I copy big creators or avoid that? Look, this is an interesting one. One of my speakers at Too Fast last year, Ben Kaluza, he very much clearly describes his success down to finding viral videos and finding big creators where stuff worked and just repurposing their content, creating his own version of those viral videos. It was a strategy that worked really well for him. I think it's a great thing to look for when you're looking for inspiration, when you're trying to figure out like, what am I going to do? Actually, you need to look at those big creators, but just don't get hung up on it. Don't be like, oh, this big creator, their videos are beautiful, they're well produced, well edited, I need to do stuff like that. No. What you need to do is take inspiration from them, create your version of that, and then keep improving. That's what you need to do first. Don't get the comparisonitis that naturally exists when you're looking at these other creators. Instead, just use them for inspiration, just like you would if you was watching sports. I'm not going to be Ronaldo just because I've got a football and I know how to kick a football. Actually, it would take practice to get to that level. Actually, nobody's going to get to Ronaldo's level. But you know what I mean? It takes practice to go and do that. So just don't be disheartened by it. Use it as motivation. How many videos before YouTube takes you seriously? Well, I don't think it's about taking you seriously. I think it's about YouTube knowing that you're consistent, knowing that your videos get clicked, knowing that your videos have the right packaging. Like, YouTube takes you seriously from day one, really. That's the truth. It's testing your content all the time. It's not unfairly testing, unless you're shadow banned, which I'm told doesn't really exist. But it's testing your content all the time, and it wants to see if people actually are going to click it. If what you've said in the title and the thumbnail, if it aligns to actually the content of the video and people agree with that because they're watching longer, average view duration, all of those things matter to YouTube. And if you can click all of them and you can have a tick on all of those things, then YouTube takes you seriously. But everybody is taken seriously from day one, from video one. There's not like, oh my God, you're just an amateur or you're a newbie to this. I'm not going to publish your videos everywhere. No, that's not how it works. Your video will go everywhere, but in the testing phase that every algorithm, that every platform tries for that. So yes, that's why I always say when creators publish their first video, they are creators. Before you publish a video, you're not a creator necessarily. Maybe if you're a writer, you are. But as soon as you publish that first video, you are a creator. You might not be a big creator, you might be a micro creator, but you are a creator. You've created something unique and you've put it on the internet. And that's a brilliant place to be. So go and get it, go and do it. Don't stop because you think YouTube might not be taking you seriously. It absolutely does. Is talking to the camera better than screen recordings? That's a good question. I've never really had that question before. Actually, it depends on your niche, right? It depends what you're talking about. If I was showing people how to do something in software, screen recordings is the obvious way to do that. But if I am doing entertainment content, I probably wouldn't have screen recordings. Really depends on your niche. What I will say is when you're doing screen recordings, there's loads of different ways to do this. You can talk over it without you facing it. Personally, because I believe in personal brands, I'd want to see a little circle with your face in, or you could use a green screen and then you could just have your head on the screen recording itself. But I just like the idea of mixing them depending on the channel. You know, on my channel, I've got some stuff about editing where you'll see my face on one side and then the screen on the other side. I've even seen this on short form content where people will show editing and they've got their face sort of to the side of CapCut or whatever it is that they're using to edit, you know. So you can mix and match the two if your channel allows for that. Don't just wedge it in for no reason. But neither is better than the others. I've seen some huge channels where they're how-to channels and people are doing screen recordings all the time. So absolutely, both are just as important as the other, depending on the niche and the channel itself. Can YouTube bring leads or sales, or is it just views? Oh my God, of course it can bring leads. In fact, I started a channel called MattFullTime. You might be watching this on MattFullTime. I started that channel to prove that we could get viewers to leads. And the process was really simple. It was about creating videos where we offered some kind of lead magnet. If you don't know what a lead magnet is, it's one of those things, a digital download where it asks for your name and your email address, maybe your phone number, before you get the thing that they're giving you. That's a lead magnet. And so what we did is we created a bunch of content on the channel and we gave away something every time. And that way we could track the leads. And with less than 1,000 views, 98 subscribers, I think it was, we got 26 leads. So you can absolutely use YouTube to get leads right from the start of your channel. You don't have to wait till you've got tens of thousands of subscribers or views or a million views or anything like that. You can get leads straight away. And I absolutely advise every single business to make sure that's what you're doing in every single video where possible. Okay? Don't leave it to chance. That's the strategic genius about doing YouTube in the right way that will absolutely accelerate your business. So yes, you can get leads and sales from YouTube. What's the biggest mistake new YouTubers make? The biggest mistake new YouTubers make is just being inconsistent. It's about starting a channel, having big ideas, and then being inconsistent and then giving up too soon. I think that's the main thing. Like when you're new to YouTube, you've got to be dedicated to the craft. You've got to get started. You've got to be accepting that your videos are not going to be great at the start. You've got to be accepting that it's going to take some time for your channel to grow. You've got to be accepting that you might not get as many views and subscribers as you want. But this is a long game. We're playing the long game. This is a strategic long view of starting a channel. So don't get hung up on all of that stuff. So the biggest mistake, I think, is just giving up too soon. If you've ever seen, there's a picture where there's these guys and they're all digging for gold. And one guy gets to the gold because he carried on. And the other guy turns back just before he's hitting the gold. And I see a lot of YouTubers, a lot of content creators kind of giving up at that point. No, you've got to be dedicated. You've got to become a YouTuber, creator, and you've got to become a consumer of content to learn from other creators and see what they're doing and kind of replicate that as best as you can and learn all of the skills it takes to become a successful YouTuber. So that is the biggest mistake. Don't make it. All right, if you've enjoyed any of this content, don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. Follow me on whatever platform you're watching this on. My name is Matt Hughes, the King of Video. I'll see you in the next video.